So we're looking at reflections. Reflections is a flip. Flip. So the translation, remember, I'm sliding things around on the graph. Reflection is if I have a reflection line and an object is getting flipped over the reflection line. It's a flip. And they're always going to tell you what the reflection line is. So on number 1, it says the reflection is the y-axis. I was like darkening in the reflection line. So the y-axis, I'm going to darken in. So that's what it's getting flipped over. Well, U was already there, so U's not going to move. But make sure and put the new U with a little prime in there. Then whatever's on the left is going to move to the right. So T, it was 2 from the line, so I have to go 2 from the other side. That's the new T. S, 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So I'm going to count 4 the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. S. V, 1, 2, 1, 2. There's my V. Reconnect. There's your reflection. The shape should not look different. It's the exact same shape. It's just been flipped over the reflection line. It's just been flipped. 2 is pretty much the same thing, but it's an x-axis. So x-axis is this way. That's the x-axis. Then it's going to get flipped over that one, so it's going to go this way. Now K didn't move. So K is still just right there. It didn't move. J is 1 below, so I got to go 1 above. So there's my J. I, 1, 2, 3 to get to the line. 1, 2, 3 to get to the other side. There's my I prime. L, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my L. After you get all your points in, then you connect your dots. I'm going to put J on the other side. There's your reflection. Kind of like a mirror. It's a mirror image. It's a mirror image. So the first 2 was just over axis. Probably the easiest of the 2. Are we okay on the first 2? Does anybody need more time on the first 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready good now? Next 2. Now this one I've got a reflection line other than the axes. Now a lot of times students get these going the wrong way. So be really careful on these. It says reflection across x equals 1. So that means on the x line, I've got to go to 1. So on the x line, I'm going to go to 1. Then I'm going to draw a line there. A lot of times students think it's going to be going the same direction as the x-axis, but it's not. It's going to cross the x-axis. So if it says x equals 1, go to x equals 1, then draw your line. Once you get the line drawn in, the rest of it's pretty easy because you're just flipping it. E, 1 away, 1 away. D, 1 away, 1 away. F, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your F. Reconnect. There's your reflection. So the tricky part is sometimes getting your correct reflection line in. So number 4 says y equals 2. So that means on the y line, on the y-axis, I'm going to go to 2. So on the y line, go to 2. Then from there, draw your line. So this time it's going to be a horizontal line. So if it's y equals 2, go to where y equals 2, go to 2 on the y, draw a line. Now this one actually is on both sides. So I just have to make sure when I flip it, whatever's above goes below, whatever's below goes above. So M was below, so I've got to go above. L was above, so I've got to go below. K was above, so I have to go below. So that's my reflection. So I'm still on the reflection line, but it's flipped the other direction. So remember, reflection is a flip. It is a flip. Are we okay on 3 and 4? Next two. 5 and 6. Pretty much the same thing as what we've been doing, but the difference is you got to graph your own first thing. So you're going to have to graph your original. Now be really careful. I still have a few people graphing things the wrong spots. Let's do the original in purple. So my original, 0, -4, 0, -4, that's my H. 3, 0, 3, 0, that's my G. 2, -4, 2, -4, that's my G, or my F. It's my original, so I don't put the marks. So that's my original shape. And like I said, I still have a few people going backwards, especially if it seems like there's a 0 in there. First number sideways, second number up and down. So just be really careful. Then it says y equals -2 for my reflection. So on the y line, I go to -2. Draw your reflection line. Now again, my triangle is kind of partly on top, partly on bottom. So I got to make sure when I flip it, it goes the other direction, but it's still going to be sitting on that line. So G is above, so I'm going to go below. F is below, so I got to go above. H is below, so I have to go above. On the line? It just stays on the line. It doesn't move. So that was number 5. Like I said, pretty much the same thing as what we've been doing. The only difference is you had to graph the original. So 6, we're going to have to graph the original. This time there's 4 points, so it's a quadrilateral. Let me switch back to purple again. So -4, -2. -4, -2. There's my K. -5, 0. There's my L. -4, +3. There's my M. -2, 2. There's my N.
Your what?
N. So there's my shape. That's a lousy N. There, that looks better. So I graphed my original. First number side to side, second number up and down. Now X is -1. So that means on the X line, go to -1. Draw your reflection line. Now usually if you can get that far, the rest of it's pretty easy. Because you just flip it over. So M, 3 away, 3 away. N, 1 away. L, 1, 2, 3, 4 away. 1, 2, 3, 4 away. K, 3 away, 3 away. And you can kind of visualize if you were to fold the board in half on that blue line, it should match up. Everything should match up with each other if you fold it in on itself. You should be able to fold it on itself. So that was 5 and 6. Like I said, pretty much what we've been doing. The only difference is you had to graph the original. Are we okay, 5, 6? 7, 8. Now these can get a little bit tricky. It says y equals x. So y equals x means that the y and the x are going to be the exact same number. So if I start up here at 5, 5, and I work my way diagonally down 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 0, 0, -1, -1, and all the way diagonally down, everything on that line would have the exact same x and the exact same y. So if it's y equals x, it's a diagonal line that goes that direction. Because it's a diagonal line, that means when I count, I'm going to count diagonally. And that's where it can get a little bit tricky. Now, I's on the line, so it's actually not going to move. So I's just going to stay put. H. If you notice, it's like a half a block diagonal. So I got to go half a block the other diagonal. J, 1, half, half, 1. There's my J. And like I said, after you get done drawing it, you can kind of visualize if this blue line, if I was a piece of paper, I could fold this in on itself and everything would match up. So when you're done with the reflection, kind of visualize to make sure it would fold in on itself. Now 8 is just the opposite. It says y equals -x. So it's still a diagonal line, but this time the diagonal line is going the other way. So this time I'm going that way. Again, you're counting diagonally. So the K, here's the K. I'm going to go diagonal to the line. So diagonal is 1, 2, half, half, 1, 2. So there's my K. L, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's my L. I, 1, 2, 3, half, half, 1, 2, 3. There's my I. J is real close, just on the other side. Reconnect. And like I said, when you're done, kind of visualize, if I could fold this in half on the blue, does everything kind of rematch up? So I'm looking for the reflection across that blue line. Like I said, this can sometimes be a little bit tricky. And it always seems like the state test loves one of these. Generally, if there's a reflection, a lot of times it's going to be one of these. It just is. You'll see a couple people writing on this one.
Some students, pardon the interruption. At 9:50, the state of Ohio will be doing a test tornado drill. We are not participating in this drill. You will hear sirens. You may receive alerts on your phone. We will be doing a full-scale tornado drill when we return from spring break. So if you hear sirens, you can disregard them. Thank you.
I use the restroom real quick.
Does anybody need more time on 7 and 8? Now the last four, they're all graphed. You gotta say, what did it do? They're the quickest of the bunch. So number 9, I've got my shape here. I mean, it's kind of sitting on top of each other, but if you find the same letter, and it doesn't matter which letter you find, you can look at the W's, the X's, the Y's, the B's, but if you notice, you want to go halfway between them. That's your reflection line. So I want you to darken in that line, but you also need to write the rule. They like these as multiple choice questions. So my rule was reflection. It's on the y-axis. So reflection y-axis. So like I said, these are the quickest of the bunch. So you just have to say what happened. So 10, K, J, I. So it looks like it's right here. Now be careful. It crosses the Y line. It crosses the Y line at -3. So therefore my rule is Y equals -3. And it's a reflection. It crosses the Y line, it's a Y equals. Like I said, I have a lot of people that sometimes do those backwards. Are you okay on 10? See a couple people writing. (11, 12). Now, we haven't done rotations yet. Rotations are tomorrow. But a lot of times on this type of question, some people think it's a rotation because they think that it did like this. But if it did this, this wouldn't be sitting the same direction. But if you notice, it's still kind of sitting the same way, just diagonally away from each other. So it's this diagonal line. If it was a rotation, the Q would have spun and the Q would have been sitting below as opposed to still up top. So sometimes the Y equals X and the Y equals -X can sometimes look like a rotation. But the shape didn't actually like change directions. It just flipped. So it's a reflection. The line's this way, so it's Y equals X. My last one's pretty easy. You can kind of see from where the things match up. Right here is the reflection line. So reflection, it's crossing the X line at -3. So X equals -3. That's really bad. X equals -3. Now, you're going to be doing pretty much the same thing. The first 6 are just kind of mixed up. I give you this shape, you're going to reflect it, whatever line I told you. The next 2, take the extra step because you're going to graph your own. Then you're going to have some that you have to write the rule. You'll have some you have to write the rule. Now, like I said, try to keep caught up. My suggestion is if you still have to do the other 2 and they're partially done, you might want to finish those, then work on this one so that you've got some things done, as opposed to a lot of things partially done. I'm going to be looking at things that you guys